Godzilla growled at this. He knew if he bowed down to King Ghidorah, he'll be letting all of his ancestors down. Not to say he'll be making his kind look weak. For the longest time, the Ghidorah species have been making the Godzilla species look abusive to all the other kaiju. This has been lasting for several hundred years. No, millions of years. Ever since the great battle between Godzilla, Earth, and Ghidorah. Or millions of years, almost thousands of years ago. And Godzilla, if all he ever wanted was to get back at King Ghidorah for making his kind look weak. And this was his one and only chance to prove to everyone out there that the Godzillas are not the abusive ones. It's the Ghidorahs who are abusive. They've been enslaving most kaiju and innocent humans as well. Not to say how many times their kind had invaded this planet and almost destroyed the Earth. This was not going to be tolerated any longer. There was no way Godzilla was going to let this continue for much longer. It's time for the Ghidorahs to pay for what they've done. Godzilla slowly rised up and flashed his intimidation display. King Ghidorah sighed. Why? Why isn't it so difficult for you just to do one simple thing so your wife can survive? King Ghidorah sounded fed up with this. You're just as stubborn as your father. Just as stubborn as Godzilla Earth himself. You don't realize that the fact that you're protecting you just don't realize that you're protecting a group of pathetic, useless creatures who just so happen to be the cause of your father's death. Oh, please. Don't act like you care about what happens to my family members. My father died as a hero. That may be true. But I've lost a good rival. Look, I know the war between our kind has been lasting for years now. My kind has made your kind look abusive. Look, it doesn't have to be this way, Godzilla. You and I can have peace if only you submit to me as your alpha. If you do so, I'll leave you, your human friends, and your family alone. And for the rest of your life, I'll even make up a lie to Exif Ghidorah, saying that I killed you. And you can go live in the Hollow Earth for all I care. You do realize that your kind and my kind have been at war for a long time. If Exif Ghidorah didn't make that stupid mistake to try to take over the whole world in the first place, none of this would happen. Plus, Ghidorah, your kind made my kind look abusive. And plus, why do you have such a grudge against Ruby anyway? Like, what has she ever done to you? Ghidorah stayed quiet for a moment. He then let out a long sigh. He was not comfortable on talking about this, but he had no other choice. I never thought I had to look back at this memory again. But you left me no choice. You see, in 1964, my father fought my grandfather fought your grandfather. I discovered that Rose's family members had something to do with that battle. No, they were a part of that battle. And not just that, they helped your grandfather, to defeat my grandfather. This lasted for years. Every single time that I see Ruby Rose, I can't help but to be reminded of the very same group of humans who just so happen to be the cause on why the Godzillas continue to win. What I don't understand is why the heck did you even begin a relationship with her in the first place? At first, you were happy with Yang, and then you two broke up after Space Godzilla led that attack at Beacon when I was still dead. And not just that, you immediately began a relationship with Blake, but then you two just mysteriously broke up for some unknown reason, and so you could just begin your relationship with Ruby only to get her pregnant and happen to marry her. I don't understand. What is your deal, Godzilla? Well, for starters, I am a king, and plus, this has been lasting for years now. And in case you didn't know, Ruby's grandfather, the father of Summer Rose, just so happened to help your father and your mother to defeat my father. And later to defeat me. Or, well, yeah, try to. Why do you think I have Ruby in a cage? So I can prevent that from happening again. You just don't realize that you're protecting the last Silver-Eyed Warrior who just so happened to be related to the same group of people that almost helped your kind wipe out my whole family. All I would have wanted to do was to simply kill her, but then the problem would be solved. But no, you and your kind just so happen to interfere with my plans ever since day one. I would have just simply killed her, so that way I won't have to be reminded that Miss Little Ruby Rose just so happens to be related to the same Silver-Eyed Warriors that wiped out my family. Is that too much to ask? Everyone just stood quiet of King Ghidorah's rage. King Ghidorah also had a bone to pick with Ruby, but it was way more personal than what Cinder wanted to get revenge on Ruby. This was way, way more personal. A little too personal.